Hello dear viewers and welcome back. In this video we are going to learn the virtual function. So basically the virtual function these are meant to work on a runtime environment. So let's have an example. So first we are going to design two classes. Let's include the ISG. Then I'm using space standard. Okay. So now that okay, int main. So this would be the main program. Now here I'm going to design the two classes. Let's name them person. Make it capitalized. It's up to you. It doesn't matter that it's your choice to take the class name. And another class name. Let's take a name as a student. So I have declared two classes and a main program. Here I'm going to write one member function void show. So that would be my member function that is going to display something like I am a person. Okay. So same member function I'm going to declare in the class student, but here let's replace person with the student. Okay, so now I want to set these function in a main. So these functions should be in public set specifier. Both of them should be in a public set specifiers. Okay, just to shorten our lines, so I'm going to write that thing in a one line. Okay, so now it's good. Now I'm going to create an object of a person class. Person class, let's say P. Now P dot show. So this is a very simple method to declare an object and call a member function with that. So this, up to till now it's very basic. So here what we are doing static binding. So this is static binding. So even if you're going to write int a equals to 5, this is a compile time binding. So if you're going to write int star p that is equal to new int, so that is a runtime. Right? So here static, everything stored on a stack, but here we are using a heap. We already discussed in the previous videos. Okay, let's run this program. Let's save it as a virtual function. Okay, virtual function. Okay, so here, so I'm a person. So because the object is of p type, and that's why it's calling a person, member function of a person. Okay, similarly you can declare the student object and call any member function of the student class. Now this was all about the static binding. So we are discussing now the virtual function. So that's in caption virtual function. So now first we should know that what is the need of these virtual function. So let's have an example. I'm going to declare a pointer. Here I'm going to create a pointer of a person class. Now if I have to call the member function with this pointer, I usually going to declare one object of a p, that is a person class, and ptr show, ptr show. Okay, let's see. So it's compiling, zero error. Okay, it's a person. So you don't need to declare this p dot show. Okay, fine. Now the beauty of dispute is that the base class pointer can point to the child class pointer. So here I'm going to base class pointer can point to the object of a derived class, but vice versa is not true. Let's create a object P for the person, student S. So here TTR, that is equal to ampersand P. Right. So this pointer is pointing. Okay, let's write this separately at the top. Okay, so this is a pointer of class base, that is, so here we hadn't put any relationship over here. So first let's create the relationship now. Public person. So person is acting as a base class, whereas student is a derived class. Student is of type person. Now I have created a pointer of a base class, this class, and now I have assigned which object of the same type. Right? So it's simple. It's going to run without any error or without any confusion. Everything is clear. Okay. So my PC is a little bit sluggish. So it's not showing me the output. Okay, well, let's check our code again. So this is a pointer, person class P, assigned address of this one, pointer, show, everything is fine. Let's rerun this. Okay, so here we got I'm a person. So now let's try with this. Now as a student class, now base class pointer can point to the child class. We already discussed that. So now if I'm going to run, what do you will guess? What will we get? This output or this output? Okay, let's run this. So here is the best part. That thing will make us clear that why we need a virtual function. So you can see here, still we are having a base class version of that function. So now here is a problem. So it's not a problem. Basically here what we did. So this is a static binding. In static binding, you know, when you're using this assignment operator, in a static binding, the data type is playing a crucial part. So here everything depends on the data type. Depends upon the data type. So here we are binding this pointer to this S, that is a student class, but the data type of PTR is person. So every time if you're not using a virtual function, so the type of the pointer, that matters. So the type of the data type of pointer is a person, so that's why it's calling always the person version of this show. So how to, you know, make it more profitable or work in this environment? So to use we have to use the virtual function. So what we are going to do, we are going to put a virtual keyword over here, virtual function show. So what I did, so I make this function as a virtual function. So now here whenever the binding, so this is the case of the static binding. In case of dynamic binding, now here the binding doesn't depend upon the data type, but here it depends upon memory it's pointing to. So now let's run our program, and now that concept would be clear, that what's the use of a virtual function. So you can see now the binding is decided at the runtime. Right? So how, you know, I have some another example. So I'm making this whole thing as a command. Okay, you can forget this thing. So now simply I'm going to declare person star ptr. So I'm declaring a pointer, and here I'm using a new is used to allocate the memory at the runtime. That is equal to new person. So here object of a same type. So ptr show. So I have allocated some memory to this pointer and I'm calling the show function. So straightforward, though it's virtual, but there is no confusion. So memory and type are the same. So that's why it's calling the same version. So here let's replace it with the student. Now this pointer type is the person, but I have allocated the memory of a student. So the memory is of a student. So now in this particular case, if I'm going to run the show, so it's depend upon memory, not on the type. So let's run this. So I'm expecting the output I'm a student, right? So let's remove this virtual. I'm going to delete this from here. So now there is no virtual concept. So now it's depend upon the type of the pointer, not to the memory. So let's run this again. So you can see we are having a person. So okay, Control Z. So with the virtual. So virtual is used to bind your data at a runtime. When you're having the same function, you're having the same function in the base class and the derived class, and you're using a pointer to call the member function. So this thing is very useful. In next video, we are going to continue with the same thing, but then a backend concept. We are going to discuss the backend concept, that is virtual function table. And so that's at the backend, what's the compiler is doing to do all that kind of binding. So we are going to discuss that in the next lecture. And you can download this code so that you can practice with this code, or you can play with this code. So the link would be in the description, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more updates. Right? Thanks for watching.